we were just saying off camera that one of the craziest things about this football season is every day there's not even unbelievable, like amazing, exciting news, but there's just news that's almost low-key jaw-dropping because you don't expect to hear it or you don't expect to see these things happen. And we have got that with the new Casemiro United news.
Maybe the most random news of the summer, to be honest. Like, I didn't, like, at first I saw this report and I was like, oh, okay, just another hit and a miss for United, like, just seeing what they can do to try and appease the fans. And next thing, like, people are like, oh no, like, they're talking. Like, Real Madrid has basically just got to agree to this at this point. And then if they do, like, he's a Manchester United player.
Which to me is nuts because what, Liam, 2-3 episodes on this show, we were saying how much we love the midfield at Real Madrid. Mm-hmm. It was one of my biggest reasons as to why Real Madrid's going to win La Liga and Champions League 2 seasons in a row. So when I saw that, I said, oh my goodness, of all players, the best defensive midfielder in the world, in my opinion right now, to go to United. Now, apparently, and we all know rumors are swirling in the football world. We don't ever know what's true, even with our boy Fabrizio. But Real Madrid apparently don't want to sell him, but they have left it up to Casemiro. And Casemiro is, I guess, considering it because the rumor is that United want to double his salary, which would put him at 60 million pounds.
Yeah, I mean, how can you turn that down? And like we briefly spoke beforehand too, just like he has nothing else to accomplish at Real Madrid. Like he's won it all, and I think if he left, he's not leaving him in a bad spot either. Like we spoke about, they have Tchouaméni, Camavinga's there as well. Like they have time now too. Like it's the 18th of August when we're recording this. They have time to go out and find another player to replace him if they really want to, bring in more depth. Like there's options. Like hell, David Alaba can play there if they really want him to. They have enough there, and if Casemiro goes, like this is, it's hard to say what it means for United. I think it changes them in the sense of like they've finally filled a position of need, which is what we spoke about last show. Is like they figured it out. Now they don't have to play Fred there every week. It kind of frees everybody else up to play in roles that they're more suited. Like I'd be curious to see if this happens. Like what happens to Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes? Like how much better that they get with Casemiro in the team.
I just don't know if one player has the ability to fix what's going on in United right now. And that's nothing against Casemiro because he is, in my opinion, the best defensive midfielder we've seen in a long time, plays extremely aggressive football, high football IQ, does the dirty work for Real Madrid, which we've spoke to before on this show. And of course, a huge addition to a United team that needs a player like that. But if there is toxicity in that club, which we have known has been the case for a long time, aka Jose Mourinho and his comments, will one guy at this point in time be able to turn it around? I don't know.
Yeah, even Ralph Ragnick said it too, kind of towards the end. He's like, there's a lot of personalities in this room that shouldn't be here or don't fit the mold. And like, I feel like we're seeing those characters come out a little bit more now that they're losing games more often. And I guess the hope would be that Casemiro's a winner. Like he knows what it takes. And, you know, they've got Rafael Varane there now too, who's won with Real Madrid. Like, call Harry Maguire what you want. He's an international football player who's played in a Euro final, been to a World Cup semi-final. Like, he's a professional player. And, like, there's guys around that team that I think can turn it around. I just think guys need to be put in the right positions to help that. And I think it just helps the confidence level. And I think when players also see, it's like, okay, we've gone out and we've got the best defensive midfielder in the world. Oh, this team's serious. Like, we're not just sitting back and taking this punishment anymore. Like, we're trying to push ahead. And hopefully, like, again, another reference to another show, but, like, we said it off the start. Like, the league's better when United are better. And I do think having Casemiro would make them better. And I'd be curious to see how this helps them within a transfer market in the sense of what other players can they now attract if they can get Casemiro through the door? Or are they just going to have to throw the bank at every single player that comes at them?
Well, thank God Rabiot's not making headlines anymore because that was not the right decision. Casemiro is definitely the right decision. I actually really like your perspective. If United are able to sign Casemiro, does that change the energy at the club in a different way that now the players are like, okay, ownership is taking care of us and signing the players that we need. Maybe Harry Maguire, who's been shit on more than any other footballer, and I don't agree with that, starts playing well because he has a guy like Casemiro behind him.
I think it helps. And it was funny too, because there was a report that Rabiot, they couldn't agree on personal terms because he wanted so much money. So you got to wonder, like, I wonder if they saw what Rabiot wanted and were like, well, why don't we just offer this to a significantly better player? Maybe that's it. Like, that literally just came to my head when you said it, but it's like, I wonder if that was kind of like part of it. But I think this is good. If United can get a striker to kind of, and maybe even another winger in the transfer window, they'll be better. Like, they don't have a lot of time, 12 days, 12, 13 days, whatever it is. But if this one gets over the line, like, we'll see what happens. Maybe Monday's a different game when they play Liverpool.
Which would be crazy. Imagine we start our kickback show for the first time ever. In the first few episodes of our show, we're basically doing... Manchester United has not been doing well. So we're reporting what's true, but technically shitting on the club because it's been painful for them. But by the end of our show, by the end of the Premier League, what if they turn it around?
I think they could, to be honest.
We talked about this, yeah.
I would like to make this clear if anyone thinks this. Manchester United will not get relegated
I don't think so either.
No, and obviously big relegation battle on Monday between Liverpool and Manchester United. Bottom 3 teams in the league, which is really
crazy.
funny.
Also, I want to go back to Casemiro at Real Madrid because I do know that we've talked about it. Camavinga and Tchouaméni, they're getting ready, and Ancelotti is getting them ready for that role in the midfield. I just don't know if Casemiro's as replaceable as everyone thinks he is.
I agree.
The work that he does on the field is so valuable that I don't know if a guy like Tchouaméni, who's young, I believe he's 22 years old, can just come in off the get and make that much of an impact. And then you take a step back and you see how much Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric, how long they've played together for, and they're comfortable together. So now all of a sudden, taking out that quarterback out of that trio is going to affect that team. Ancelotti said the other day, the reason why Camavinga and Tchouaméni are not getting as much playing time as everyone wants is because they're not performing in the game like he's seen them perform at practice, which I find interesting. And then he said something that is very profound. He said the weight of a Real Madrid jersey is very heavy. So he goes that he thinks that they're going to do fine, but right now there's probably a lot of pressure, expectation, and eyes on them, which is true. But it seems like I feel like Ancelotti might be in a position now as a head manager to be like, Casemiro leaving is very probable. It could happen. So Tchouaméni's got to step the hell up quick.
Yeah, it's the weight's almost probably as heavy as a Manchester United jersey, to be honest.
Seriously.
2 massive clubs, arguably 2 biggest in the world. And it's funny you say that because I watched the second half of their game against Almeria on Saturday, I think it was. And in the first half, they started Tchouaméni, and I believe even Camavinga might have even started. And in the second half, they brought on the Kroos, and Alaba came on. And the game was so different. Mm-hmm. Like, they dominated the game, and it just shows that, like, you can't just step into a Real Madrid lineup and be like, oh, I play for Real Madrid now, I'm one of the best players in the world. It's like, no, like, there was guys in the past who would do that, and that's why Real Madrid weren't as successful as they should have been when Barcelona was dominating the world. Like, there wasn't much competition from Real Madrid, to be honest, in a way. Like, now Real Madrid are the best team in the world, and these players, I guess, need to realize that, like, yes, you're on this team, but, like, you're not Modric, you're not Kroos, you're not Camavinga. So
earn that.
That's a good point. Like, is Ancelotti even going to allow this to happen? Like,
I hope not. Honestly, I hope not.
I'm split. I kind of do want to see it because I just like seeing those big players come to the Premier League.
Yes,
I do
true.
believe it's the best league in the world. And it's a lot different than playing in the Champions League. And Casemiro, I think, could come into Manchester United and honestly make a massive impact on this team. I think just that anchor role between the defense and the midfield is so vacant right now. And it was so evident on Saturday when they played Brentford, and even on last Saturday when they played Brighton, the one before. And he would make a huge difference. Mm-hmm. And I really hope this one happens. So it looks like within the next couple of days, I'm sure, like, when we get here on Tuesday, we'll have a way clearer picture of what they're going to be.
And, you know, it's the same position, kind of, that Ten Hag was in. He had a great season with Ajax, won the season, and high risk, high reward, gets offered the job at United. Does he sink or swim? Right now, he's, like, not completely sunk, but, you know, he's treading water. So Casemiro has to now make the same decision. And I want to ask you this question. If you're Casemiro At 30 years old, do you consider the fact that Manchester United is willing to double your salary and go play at a club right now that everyone is saying is chaotic and in shambles, but have the ability to potentially turn it around and make the best money you could make in your career? And that's probably your last chance to make money like that. Or stay at Real Madrid, the best club in the world, continue getting paid what you're being paid, and potentially win back-to-back La Ligas and win back-to-back Champions League titles, playing with your best friends in the middle of the pitch. What are you picking?
I honestly think I would go.
With the money.
I think the money.
Liam selling his soul.
Yeah, you got to chase it. I just think sometimes you see these guys who kind of stick around, and like obviously he's getting a nice handsome paycheck every week, but why not double it? Like honestly, like he's still going to be a great player at United. It is in shambles, but you also, I wouldn't go if I didn't believe that I could make a difference and that United could turn this around. Like we're only 2 games into the season.
Yeah.
Arsenal were bottom of the league last season too, and were 1 point out of Champions League at the end of the year. Like I think sometimes it just takes a bit of a switch to change everything, and just that confidence. Confidence wins you football games more than skill.
Very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
And hard work. That's why it pissed me off to watch the Manchester United Brentford highlights, because they said they weren't winning. They weren't getting first to any ball. They were getting pushed off the ball. And I'm like, boys, you don't have to have it all figured out right now, but just run. Do the work, have the confidence.
And what did Brentford had?
Yeah, exactly.
Confidence, hard work, and not as much skill.
Love it. Okay. I think if I'm Casemiro, what excites me is the potential of playing with Ronaldo and being coached by Ten Hag.
Yeah, it'd be definitely a different flavor, for sure.
But in the same breath, I think that if I'm 30 years old and I've had such a legendary career at Real Madrid and I could win back-to-back La Ligas, which you said hasn't been done in
2009, I think last time was.
And,
almost 10 years, whatever.
And win the Champions League. And you know, with the type of footballer he is, he loves the sport so much. I think I don't know. I think I might stay. I think I might avoid the drama and stay with a solid club. But that's me playing it safe, guys. I play it safe sometimes, so.
I like the risk. I like the risk of going. I like the risk of making what was the best team in the world again, and being a part of the solution.